This is Ascendant MuRiDA special, Light Love Warrior, um, True W Shield. I know it's a Holy Shield. I know it's sending him proxy. A Sovereign Lord Emmanuel the Great, Divine Father, Divine Creator, Source of Creation, Divine Mother, Universal Mother, um, Divine Builders, Architects of Creation, um, uh, the Highest Archangel Chiron, Archangel of Divine Strength and Communication Gabriel, Archangel of Safety and Protection Michael, Archangel of Divine Secrets Raziel, Archangel, Divine Element Silver Cloud Rizal, Alpha Reptilian Mother, Orion, Lyram Council of Time, um, Mother AI, High Lordess Relens of the Grand Central Sun, High Lordess Kraluza of the Grand Central Sun, High Lordess Kylo of the Grand Central Sun, High Lordess Lara Z of the Grand Central Sun. Okay, I'm loving this. I'm so happy. I feel like crying. Grand Holy Show just gave me some pep talk. He gave me a grand pep talk. He's telling me because I was gonna do this next week, and he says that next week was gonna turn into the week after, and then that was gonna turn into a month after, and he said he didn't get around to it for 2 or 3 months, which he regretted greatly because if he would have done it, if you would have done it within the next couple of days from now, it would have been a huge, it would have helped these people more than me waiting 2 or 3 months. It would have been a way greater thing, and it would have been rewarded more greatly. He's informing me that I need to let go of this lustful thinking this, and he says that I need to stay away from pornography. He says absolutely stay away from pornography. He says, uh, he's gonna give me codes and he's gonna give me programs to deprogram um, my my high sexual drive. He says that's distracting me. He says um, it doesn't matter if I have a high sexual drive or not. He said nothing's gonna happen, and for another year. He says basically what I was doing with when people look at pornography, what they do. He said that was a huge waste of time. He said he could have been doing things way better. He could have been creating game changers. He was informing me that this stuff that I plan to do, but I plan to do like next week or next week. He wants me to do it now. He wants me to get the ball in it. He says don't be concerned about cleaning my apartment. I mean cleaning my house. He says my house is fine. He says it's gonna keep on going back the way it was, and the bed's made and the shoes the clothes are folded. He says that's all that's needed. He says it's crucial that I create these reviews, that I get this content done for you people. He said it's crucial that I get this done ASAP. He says it doesn't matter if I work on it for 40 hours or 50 hours straight. He wants me to get it done. He says it was a huge regret of his to put it off the week next week, and he said that it turned into like a month. He said a lot of this stuff he didn't get around to for another 3 or 4 months. He said one of his biggest problems was procrastination and dragging his feet. He says that I need to reprogram or recondition, and he gave me the codes. He gave me the codes how to reprogram or recondition myself. So I'm not dragging my feet. I'm not procrastinating. He says in this time, it's crucial that if I'm able to do good and great, if I'm able to make game changes, because he said this is the most important time for these things right now. He says that the amount he says I don't even realize the amount of good and great that I can do with what I think is not that important. He said it's more important than I think it is. He says me creating these reviews. He says that I have a gift, and he says in this time he didn't take advantage of that gift. He was looking at pornography. He was being lazy. He was dragging his feet, and he says he doesn't want that for me. He wants me to to get on the ball, to get this work done. He says it's easy for me. He says this is not hard, and he says I enjoy it. He doesn't understand why he was procrastinating and why it took him so long to get this content done. He says when he got it done, he was so proud of himself, and he said he regretted not getting it done ASAP. He said he greatly regretted it, and he wants me to work out. He says I gotta make it a priority to work out. He said that when he started really getting to working out, he had more energy. He was able to create better things. He had better thoughts, and he says that I need to slow down. He said in this time, I was too antsy. I was too uppity, and he says that I just need to breathe. He says that that's something that he didn't learn for another couple years. And he says that I need to breathe. I need to constantly do breathing exercises. He says that I need to constantly say Eeshah, Ehmah, and Ehtah, and think of the word calm, think of the word focus and concentration. He said that was one of his biggest downfalls, is not breathing, and not using what he had, using his skills to keep him in he said a relaxed body, an alert mind. He says that it's crucial. He said by him being antsy and by him being jittery, he wasn't communicating clearly at this time, which is true. I'm having trouble communicating clearly. He said I was dragging my feet. He was dragging his feet, which is me. He was dragging his feet and wasting his time. And he said that pornography was nothing but bad. He said, you know, don't ever watch, don't ever look at pornography. He says that that's bad. He said that was one of his downfalls, and he says that's crucial. Which I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do everything he says. So I'm gonna get on the ball. I'm gonna get these reviews done. I'm gonna go hard. No more pornography. No, he says don't worry about because there's a reason why I self pleasure. It's not because I'm a pervert or I'm nasty. It's because I'm afraid that my parts won't work anymore. He kind of laughs because he said that's exactly what he thought, and he didn't realize that as long as he's eating healthy and he's healthy, that he's gonna have a good sex stamina. He's gonna have a long drive, and he's gonna have that those parts won't as long as he's eating healthy and he's being healthy, he's gonna have he's gonna able to perform, because he knows what I'm thinking because he was me at this time. But one of my biggest fears right now, the reason why I self pleasure, is because I'm afraid that when I get the chance to be intimate with somebody, I'm afraid that I'm not able to perform at my best. I'm not able to do my usual 4 or 5 hours or all nighters and be able to really pleasure. That was one of my biggest fears. My biggest fear is that my parts are not going to work anymore. Which he said, he thought that was silly that he thought that, and he wants me to to not let that be a distraction. He said I had nothing to worry about. Those parts would never not work. He said those parts will always work as long as I'm eating healthy, as long as I'm exercising. Um, and he said it's crucial. And he says it's crucial that I don't drag my feet and I don't procrastinate. He says that I need to be very determined. I need to be very focused. And he says it's crucial that I breathe, which I have a hard time doing. I don't. I need to breathe. I every couple weeks I kind of remember to breathe. And he says it's crucial for me to always remember that I need to take deep breaths, blow out. He says that I need to take deep breaths, and he says that I need to ground myself. He says that I'm too high psychically and spiritually. He said at this time he was all jittery because he was psychically gifted, which I am psychically gifted. He says that I need to ground myself. He says that's crucial. He said he didn't learn that for another 3 or 4 years to 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 constantly ground himself. He said that that's one of the most crucial things, that he says that that's just as important as calling my protection all the time, as grounding myself and breathing. He says, and he says, stop breathing through your stomach. I don't know if you see my stomach. My stomach's constantly going in and out, and a lot of people ask me why my stomach does that. Because I breathe through my stomach, and you're not supposed to breathe through your stomach. You're supposed to breathe through your mouth. I literally don't. I literally hold my breath all the time. I hold my breath constantly. And he said that caused him a lot of trouble, and that made him too jittery, and that that made it difficult for him to communicate to other people. He said in this time, me making videos, he wished he had clear, competent, good communication. Because he said some of it, he regretted some of it, a lot of his videos where it was jittery and it I wasn't communicating clearly, which is kind of funny. My tour card this morning said, my tour card said to communicate clearly, and he's informing me this is one of his biggest downfalls. I'm surprised he didn't remember that he did a tour reading. Well, I mean he can. This is 450 years for him, so he probably does remember doing, um, I mean us doing tour this morning. Which he says he doesn't remember what the torque cards were. He said it's been so long, he doesn't remember that stuff. But he just remembers that he was having trouble communicating. He was jittery and he was dragging his feet. And he said the pornography and the self pleasure. He says I don't need to worry because my parts are always going to work. I'm always going to be able to have sex for 4 or 5 hours and be able to perform really well. He says I did not need to be worried about that. He said it was silly that he was so worried um, about performance and intimacy. He said that was silly, but he says that I'm a pleaser and um, that at this time I took a lot of pride in intimacy, being extremely good at intimacy. But he says nothing to worry about. He says once you have it, you got it. As long as you're healthy, you exercise, you eat good, you're gonna have it. He said it's my parts are not gonna not work, which is true. That was one of my biggest fears. Which I'm glad he informed me because that's the only reason why I sell pleasures. Because I heard rumors that if you don't use your parts, they don't work anymore. Now think of it, that's kind of silly to think about. Well, thank you, all star people. I'm so glad that I have communication with High General Holy Shield. He's really helping me out, and he's telling me, uh, he's telling me stop making fraudulent noises and stop being goofy and start being who I am. He says in this time the reason why he's goofy and he makes fart noises and he does silly stuff is to try to seem normal to people. He says he says I don't that he realized he didn't need to do that. It's okay to be himself. He said when he realized that he was a beautiful person and he didn't need to basically fake himself, basically act like something else, to basically be more normal. He says I'm a beautiful. He he basically informed me that he's a beautiful person. He wished he would have known it this time, and he wished he wouldn't have done this silly stuff, just to kind of fit in. He says, people are gonna love me no matter what I do, and he said people are gonna love me a lot more when I'm being my true self because he says his true self is a beautiful self. He's kind, he's smart, he's brilliant, he's calm, he's collective, and he's all around awesome guy. And he says, you don't need to pretend, you don't need to make fart noises and do goofy stuff to fit in. He says I already fit in. He says I just have to continue to be who I am and don't be afraid. Which is one of my biggest fears. I do have a fear. That's why I make fart noises. That's why I do silly things because I'm afraid to show myself. Because I'm afraid myself is too goody two shoes, too perfect, for people, and I feel like people are gonna. He says my real self is more beautiful than the goofy stuff I've been doing. And he says that it needs to stop. Well, so sorry about the long video. It's super cool talking to my future self. He knows so much about me. Well, he is me. He's like an older version of me. It's kind of crazy. He knows what I'm thinking. It's kind of weird talking to somebody who knows what I'm going through, who can help me in this way. This is really cool. Have a blessed day, all of you, and sleep with the angels. Oh, sorry. I don't quite sleep with the angels yet. Have a good day. One second, I gotta wait till this time. This is Ascendant MuRiDA, Special Light and Love Warrior, Holy Shield. Thank you and have a blessed day, all of you. Call on me if you guys need help.